Welcome to the Herd's official YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Colin Cowherd podcast, all of our NFL instant reactions, and more football content.
So it's interesting as college football heats up. Sometimes the best answer about a new job is saying no. So there's a lot of talk about Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss, where he's a messiah, right, and going to LSU or going to Penn State or going to Florida. So I'll just say this. I know Lane a little bit. Lane Kiffin bolted Tennessee. How did that work out? Lane Kiffin was the youngest coach in the NFL at one point with the Raiders. He got fired. He got his perfect job at USC. Fired again, this time on the tarmac of an airport. How'd that work out? I think Lane Kiffin, in my opinion, is best suited for Ole Miss because I think he says what he thinks without much of a filter. Can't do that at the big jobs. You can absolutely do it. You can absolutely do it at Ole Miss. Big fish, small pond, you can say whatever you want. The other thing is, like, Curt Cignetti is revered at Indiana. You put the same coach at Alabama, and all he would hear is, well, you're not Saban. So here's the LSU job. Literally, the governor yesterday is talking about the $54 million contract they have to write for Brian Kelly. And he's basically said, now, the AD at LSU, we're taking you out of the next coaching signing. Here it is.
We are not going down a failed path. And I wanted to tell you something. This is a pattern. The guy that's here now that wrote that contract cost Texas A&M $70-something million. Right now, we got a $53 million liability. We are not doing that again. No. I can tell you right now, Scott Woodward is not selecting the next coach. Hell, I'll let Donald Trump select it before I let him do it. I don't know, but the Board of Supervisors is going to come up with a committee, and they're going to go find us a coach.
You want to enter that hornet's nest? Hard pass. Like, no, thank you. Penn State, I think Lane likes the southern weather. Played at Fresno State, Southern California guy. I think he likes the warm weather. I've said the Florida job maybe works because he likes Florida, but it's a lot of kiss in the ring when you go to the big jobs. And Lane is a great play caller. I do not think he's a politician. And you got to be a little of both in these biggest jobs. It's a lot of kiss in the ring. And I said yesterday, I talked about the kind of the food chain, the pyramid of the best jobs in the country, the top 10 jobs for a lot of different reasons. And I think Texas, between the money, the boosters, the city, is the best job. LSU and Florida, to me, we can put it up, are both great jobs. But they come with different pressure and different boosters. I think the best jobs to me, Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, LSU, Florida, Oregon. Phil Knight's given just shy of $3 billion to Oregon. As long as he's around, that's a great job. Alabama, SC, Michigan, Notre Dame. You can tell me about Texas A&M. I've been told for 40 years how great Texas A&M is going to be. Just, we'll see. I mean, Indiana last year, Indiana this year could be better than Texas A&M, and that's a basketball school historically. So I think those big jobs, they're not for everybody. And they're not for somebody who's kind of loose, who's kind of raw, who's kind of outspoken, who can be kind of snarky. I think Ole Miss is great. And by the way, Ole Miss is now going to pay him whatever he wants. So you tell me, if in your current job where you have reign, control, and are respected, is it better making 11, 12% less than the high-pressure job? All I know is I heard that governor of Louisiana yesterday. I'm like, no, thank you. I am Seacrest out on that job. And LSU may be the best job in the country. But the governor's now telling, I mean, it's now literally a political football job. Literally. I wouldn't take it. Nope, wouldn't take it. There's always a game played every year at this time. A little earlier this year, in fact, with coaches getting fired. That means there's openings and people getting discussed. The coach will always dismiss any rumor. I have not talked to anybody. Well, that's because they have a powerful agent like Jimmy Sexton that does all the calling. And so that allows a coach to say, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't talked to anybody. The question should be, have you or your agent discussed anything? Because that's the game that gets played. So last week, Dianna Russini, The Athletic, senior NFL insider, who's joining us live. First things first, she'll be on it today. Sark dismissed the report, but I had said about a month ago, I'm like, if I was an NFL guy, Sark's got to be top of my list on one of the guys. He's worked in the NFL. He's been great at college. What did you make of him dismissing your report? That NFL teams
all the fun stuff. First of all, congratulations on the induction in the Radio Hall of Fame. Your voice has been a companion to so many people, including myself during my lonely days when I was living out in Portland and Seattle, and I had a really low-level job in sports, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, but you were my company. You were my friend. So this isn't just a temporary thing. This is forever, my friend. So congrats to you.
Thank you
quite
so
the
much.
honor. So let's dive into this, right? So yeah, you're right. Jimmy Sexton puts out a statement pretty quickly, denying that Steve Sarkisian would have any interest in the NFL, right? And that's not what I reported. I reported that his representatives told NFL decision makers, not just the Tennessee Titans, just people in the NFL, that Steve Sarkisian would have interest in a head coaching job if there were one to open, right? Because obviously Tennessee's the only one that's available at this moment. But as we know, this is all going to change over the next few weeks. And as we get closer to the end of December, there will be more openings. So look, the reason why they came out strong against this is not good for Steve Sarkisian at Texas, right? He just signed a new contract. He tells everybody he's happy. And I believe he is happy. Like, I think he likes being the coach of Texas. I don't have those doubts. But he has the most powerful agent in college sports for a reason. This is what Jimmy Sexton is paid to do. It is to make sure that Steve Sarkisian has all the options. We could probably have a long conversation about whether or not we think the Texas job is actually better than the Titans job, right? But most guys that I talk to in football specifically will tell you they will take the worst job in football in the NFL over the best job in college. So at the end of the day, yes, Texas is one of the great coaching places to be, but it ain't the NFL.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to recruit, deal with donors. You get an occasional impulsive owner. Some aren't, some are. Dianna Russini joining us. All right. I want to ask you, The Athletic has the article about A.J. Brown, and I'm sympathetic to it. He's a bit of a loner. He said he struggles making friends. And I said, you know, Jalen Hurts is one of those guys. We're very unfair about this. When a quarterback enters the NFL, we need you to be 43 years old at 23. You've got to be a CEO, a psychologist. I mean, Dak Prescott walked into Dallas, and it was like Des Bryant, Jerry Jones, the media, and he was great. And very few humans can do it. Jalen Hurts, I think, has that component to his personality. He's like the cooler. He brings the temperature down in loud Philly. What is the current relationship, Dianna, with your reporting on the Hurts-A.J. Brown relationship today?
Yeah, on the field, it's not great, right? Because there's obviously there's not a very good connection there. A.J. Brown has been very public on social media about how he feels about it, and in that article with The Athletic. He doesn't want to just be used, using his words, right, in the moments when Philly needs him to come through. He wants to be part of this Philly offense throughout the game. And when you talk to people around the league that have had to defend the Eagles over the last few weeks, they say they understand where AJ is coming from, right? But what's good for the team? The offense that we saw run this past week against the New York Giants is the offense the Eagles want to be. When Saquon Barkley gets going and there's a ground game and they protect well, that is where they're always going to go. And A.J. Brown knows that. Now, look, the passing game opens up when Saquon can run well. A.J. also knows that. But it is very apparent that he's not happy there. He does not want to be in Philadelphia. And I don't think he's trying to hide it either. I don't think you have to be a reporter to even understand it. I think what Nick Sirianni is so good at managing, though, are these personalities. And they spend a lot of time with AJ trying to have these conversations of like, look, we're going to get you the ball. We're going to sort this out. We've got a first-time offensive coordinator here calling plays. We just need a little bit more time. The problem is we've got the trade deadline coming up. Okay, teams have called the Eagles about A.J. Brown because they can see it. They know there's a problem here. And for now, Philly's saying unless this is a gigantic offer, a blockbuster deal, we are sticking with A.J. Brown. They're on a bye week this week. And I actually think this works in the favor of Philly. I think this just lets everybody cool off and sort it out and sort of get realigned to what they want to do coming out of the bye. So we'll see how this goes, but there's still a few days before the trade deadline.
You've been talking to Jerry and Stephen Jones in the last week or two. Jerry made a comment that he would make a move at the trade deadline, which I think is terrifying because they've got 2 first-round picks and they don't need a quarterback. That is the catbird seat in the NFL. Like the Rams don't need one today, but they probably need one because Matt's 37. Dak's got 4 to 5 more good years, 2 first-round picks. The next 2 years, they can move down. They can get more picks. So when Jerry says, hey, I want to make a deal maker, I'm like, no. Somebody step in front of Jerry. Don't do that. When they say that, do you buy into it? Do you think they'll make a move here in the next few days?
No, I don't. I hear him, and I spent an hour talking with him about what they're going to do. Just trying to pick his brain, like trying to kind of cut through all just the gibber that he gives us a lot. And he has the picks. He gets it. He doesn't have any regrets from the Micah Parsons trade because he got those picks. I think they're looking at the landscape of the league right now, and they want to find some talent. I just don't think there's a lot out there for him. I think they want to take a swing for a big player, but those players aren't available. And I think that's the point they're at. He knows the defense needs help. What they did against the Commanders was good because they had good turnovers. But then what we saw last week, they took a step back again. It is apparent that is the weakness of this Dallas Cowboys team. So what does that mean with just being a few days out from this November 4th trade deadline? They're making calls, but I don't think there's a player out there that they think can fix it. I don't think it's just one player, and they know it.
So the trade deadline coming up, I think Buffalo could use help. I think the Colts would look for a pass rusher. Rams solved their corner issue. Let me throw Detroit out. Colts in Detroit, I keep hearing rumors. What do you hear?
Those are good. Yeah, they're not rumors. Pass rush for sure for Detroit. The position that Indy needs is corner. Like, they are desperate, and they are working the phones right now trying to fill because they're dealing with tons of injuries. Lou Anarumo has made some magic over the last few weeks with that situation, and I think we could all fairly say this is a team that's going to go in the playoffs. And if they can fix this one weakness, they've got a really good shot. I don't find Detroit to be as desperate. I think the way this roster is constructed right now, they're in really good shape, but they could use that help too at corner and pass rush as well. The Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, we know Howie Roseman is always working the phones. They need an edge rusher badly, and everybody knows it. And they're making calls everywhere, and that's really the position, Colin, that teams are desperate for. It's all pass rush. That is where, if you're a pass rusher right now, someone probably called for you, even if you're not that good, because there's just such a need. So I expect Philly to make a move here. Miami has some players that are available that they could be calling. And you're right, Buffalo is looking for wide receiver. They're also looking for some help on the defensive side of the ball. They're looking at safety. So lots of needs for teams. I just don't know if there's a lot available.
Yeah. Well, I think, fans have gotten smarter. GMs have gotten smarter. There's so much transparency. The Chargers have been patient, and Joe Alt came back, and they're fine. I think Myles Garrett, I said yesterday, I could see, because I think Daniel Jones will sign an extension. They got their coach, their quarterback. They've got weapons. I could see they got their O-line. I could see Chris Ballard going, we'll give you 2 1s for Myles Garrett. Would Cleveland consider... Now, Cleveland's got 2 1s already. How many do you need? Myles Garrett, any chance he moves?
No, they won't do it. And look, every general manager I've ever had this conversation with will always go, well, unless it's like unbelievable, then you got to take it, right? So with that in mind, if the way I'm translating, or at least the way I'm hearing Cleveland, they don't want to move him. They know they need him on this team. They don't have much in Cleveland in terms of what to hang their hat on. They need to figure out the quarterback position. And if they can figure that out and have Myles Garrett on the other side of the ball, I think in their mind they can construct something decent. Now, teams are still calling, but teams that I've spoken to over the last 24 hours, we'll say, that have reached out to Cleveland have all been told the same thing. We're not moving him. We're not dealing him. So I think the idea is there, just like the way it is with Max Crosby. I know there was some chatter about the Dallas Cowboys perhaps being interested in him. I think that's another organization that doesn't want to let go of a player of that talent. The Tennessee Titans, Jeffrey Simmons, another guy that, I mean, if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm begging the Titans for that. It's less money than Micah Parsons, and he could be a great addition to that pass rush. But Tennessee's another team that they're not willing to move on him.
Great stuff. Dianna Russini, first things first today. You know, this TV thing is pretty cushy. You may want to consider it. You know, that writing's hard.
You think? Writing is hard, but I like it. But yeah, I don't know. I do a little bit of everything these days. You know, I'm just trying to keep up with you, Colin.
Great seeing you.
Great to see you. Congrats.
All right. Dianna Russini, thank you for the compliments for us and the staff covering the NFL for 10 years, the Athletic Senior NFL Insider. Yeah, I mean, there are not many players I would give up. I mean, I would give up a couple of firsts for a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, you think about that. If tomorrow, Patrick Mahomes, 5 first-round picks, that doesn't feel enough. Myles Garrett, I would give up 2 first-round picks. I'm trying to think of the defensive players now in the NFL. Myles Garrett, that's it, I think. Jared Verse, I'd give up maybe a first and a second. I think he's unbelievable. You know, it's an offensive league, but you know, I've said before, keep your defense young, twitchy, and cheap, but you're going to have to pay eventually for the big dog up front. The Max Crosby, the Trey Hendrickson. J-Mac with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
All right, let's start with the Dallas Cowboys, Colin. They've been an interesting story this season. Dak Prescott rejuvenated, largely thanks to Mr. Pickens, but also Brian Schottenheimer. He's had a good first year. I mean, surprising the hell out of us. They're 3-4-1, but Schottenheimer got a little combative with the media, saying the only stat that matters is wins.
None of us have done good enough. You know, I mean, coaches, players, head coach, none of us have done good enough. That's real. I mean, our scorecard is what it is, you know, and that's not just, you know, defensively, that's offensively. You know, we're a football team that's 3-4-1. You can take the stats on offense and, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, is what it is. We want to win.
You know, I don't. Are we really bleeping out? Shove it up your. You know what? We can't say that on TV.
You know what? Coach of the year so far is probably Mike Vrabel. Is that fair?
Shane Steichen would like a word.
Okay. Vrabel. I think Shanahan's been unbelievable. Does Brian Schottenheimer get in the top 3 or 4? All things considered.
No.
All right.
How are you making a case for him? They're 3-4-1. Don't forget that tie against the Packers.
With the worst defense in the league.
Well, the 2 worst defenses in the league are the Cowboys and you know, whoever's playing the Cowboys, because their offense is going to.
I would say, because I think Shane Steichen's got a much better roster than Vrabel does.
Now you say that, but you would not have said that in August.
I said it. I've been saying it for 2 years that all they need is a quarterback. I love their roster. I love the Colts roster last year.
You think well, let's see here. Okay,
I think their roster's
Colts.
Right?
Yeah. Wide receiver Cowboys by a mile. Quarterback Cowboys.
No. I'm talking Colts and Vrabel. I would give Vrabel number 1. I think he's doing more with less. I would give Steichen 2. I think Kyle Shanahan's done an unbelievable job. Backup quarterback, 5 of his top players, Bosa out year, Warner hurt, Hufanga Greenlaw. I mean, I think it's Vrabel. Vrabel's doing more with less. Steichen has more. They've got the best roster, healthiest roster. And then
Seattle's got a good coach. Tampa's got a good coach that are exceeding expectations dramatically.
I don't think Seattle is. I had them as a playoff team.
Aren't they 5-2?
Yeah, I had them winning 10 or 11 games.
That's right. I forgot. You're so prescient with your August NFL picks. Damn it. All right, let's move on to the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, remember the story about the ping pong tables last week? You went off on that.
Yeah.
So the Ravens removed ping pong tables, Pop-A-Shot, another thing I could dominate you in, and video games, all pulled from the locker room. Well, Lamar told the media, guess what? It wasn't the team. I was the one who made that request.
Told him to take all the games and ping pong, turn the TVs off. If we could have took the TVs out, they would have been out too, but I appreciate Mr. Steve for putting that in there for us, you know, but yeah, we had to focus. I wouldn't say people don't take the job serious, don't get me wrong, but like, I didn't feel like it was the time for that, you know. We got a lot of work to do.
Love that.
Leadership, capital L.
I love it. So we got a lot of work to do. It's not the time for ping pong tables.
Okay, a quick counter, and I'm not. Lamar fans, settle down before you hear this. So, does this kind of reek of Lamar saying, hey, man, I come out and we all of a sudden stink. You guys got to clean up your act. No TV for you. No ping pong for you. Isn't that like you telling your kids, hey, man, no dinner tonight. You didn't perform well in school.
I don't tell my kids that.
I'm
starving my kids. No, it is what leadership isn't a popularity contest. Leadership is anybody can be popular. That's not leadership. Leadership is doing unpopular things that are necessary and saying, guys, we're no more ping pong tables, no more video games. Love him. I've always defended Lamar Jackson. I love this about him. Grown up, need grown-ups in the locker room. Not out there hanging around video games and eating candy corn all day.
Maybe because Lamar stinks at ping pong, he had the tables removed. I don't know. Final story, Colin. Over to college football, where Bill Belichick still on the struggle bus this season. North Carolina 2-5. They are dog water in the ACC. Here we go. Belichick was just, remember there was a report saying Belichick was discussing buyout options. Yeah. He went off to the media. Take a listen to this one.
It's already been taken down and everything else, but it's just total, as Trump would say, fake news. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's just a novel. There's plenty of that out there too, by the way, but I'm not going to deal with that. I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there that want to get, clicks and views and, posts on my face or whatever. But it's just a bunch of garbage.
Well, I would say a majority of stuff on my face is garbage. But, if he was winning, the jokes are funnier when you're winning. When you're losing, it just sounds grumpy. When you're winning, it's funny. He used to say that all the time. Snap face and my chat. Remember he used to say that in New England? Everybody thought that was funny.
It's a little old now. Hey, I'm curious. Where's Jordan Hudson been since that TV show fell apart and they started losing?
Well, again,
mysteriously, I'm not seeing a lot of her anymore. Does she not want to hang around losers?
No, I think she read the room and this is not the time to be out there. Yeah, I mean, it's the thing, what we've learned. There's two things we've learned about college football coaching since NIL arrived. You can't load at Colorado, LSU, USC. You can have all the money in the world. You can't have a roster, and this is Carolina too, of 60% transfers. It ruins chemistry. You're going to miss on too many guys. It's going to create animosity in the room. And I think one of the things with Belichick, of the things that haven't gone right, they spent a lot of money on a lot of players, and they didn't hit on them. And I think the transfer portal, two things can be true. I like it, and it should be used with discretion. And the number I always come back to, I talked to a coach about this. He said about 7 to 8 guys a year. He goes, everybody needs a corner every year. He goes, there's a shortage of corners. He goes, if you can find a receiver that blocks, an interior offensive lineman who's a smart guy, got 1 year late, kickers. There's things that people can another good slot corner, another receiver who can get physical downfield and block, another running back, right? Like the third or fourth running back. What happens with the transfer portal? North Carolina tried to set their starting lineups with the transfer portal. Like, hey, we're going to go get starters. I think the underrated part of the transfer portal is not everybody's a star. You get guys that add depth. Now, again, if you can go get Caleb Downs, you're Ohio State, by all means, or a star quarterback, Caleb Williams, then go get him. But by and large, I think a lot of it is just adding less expensive, less animosity, just adding depth at key positions, offensive tackle, corner, wide receiver that blocks. A lot of them don't. So I think Indiana's done it well. They've hit on the guys they've brought in.